Adding new access levels. You want to navigate to Configuration, and notice that there are two different types of access levels. Access level groups will be covered in another tutorial. These are just the basic access levels. To add a new access level, you right click in the white space off to the side. We'll go to New. And notice that the access level will need a name. Try to stay consistent if you can, or if special occasions you need to have a very specific access level made for a particular person. It's probably good to add their name or even their time or the location of that few of the doors that are on that person. In this case, we're just going to do a test. And it's also important to understand what an access level really is. You're trying to create a name for something that allows a person to get in to a reader, and what time range is that person allowed to use a card with that reader. Otherwise, they're just locked out. So, if you'll notice here, the time zone is selected to always unlock. So in the most basic sense, if I wanted to give a person 24-hour access, which that's what this would mean, always unlocked, right? Say I always wanted them to be able to get into all of the different Dockery openings. I'd select all of those, and notice at the end of each one of these are individual readers. So this entire list are all of the available readers to you. Notice at the end of that reader, as they get assigned, it will show the time zone or the time that that person is allowed to use their card to get into that opening. It's a very easy thing to miss because you want to just quickly give the person access, but say you don't want them to get in there after 10 o'clock. Now the door may go back to lock, but if this person has access and they're always able to get in there, that's why we have this in parentheses to try to make it clear, they will be able to get in there at 10 o'clock at night. Now you'll have the traceability in your system showing through your event screen when that person came in there. But if you see a valid access to that area at that time, you may not think anything about it. But just make sure that you want to have a specific time for people unless they have the status and they're allowed to do that. So if we want to, for an example, this person, we want them to be able to have access to to Dockery between a certain time. So we'll select on our box here. We'll go to one of our time zones. Say for instance we made this Dockery time zone already, and this just simply says, okay, well it's 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Alright, we'll put that as a selection, and at any time we pull over a reader, it will take that time zone with it and put it into this assigned area. So if you'll notice, this says Dockery 7:30 to 4:30. Let's change this and say this was for custodian 6 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And we'll select a couple more for Dockery. So they may be able to get into this 102A data closet between 7:30 to 4:30. But if they wanted to go to these two outside doors, now this is a situation that's not really logical, but just for the clarity on how to specify a time zone when bringing a reader over, it's very important to understand this. This is the range the person is allowed to use that reader. And these are just time zones that you create, which is of course a group of intervals. So we'll say that we'll leave this in here and we'll click save. Now we have our test. You could double click on this to check it out or make alterations as you need. We'll close that out. And that's how you create an access level.